we're going to talk about an interesting subject today, torn brown paper. That's right, this stuff right here, torn brown paper. It's a hotly debated subject, a lot of methods to fix it. We're going to talk about some different ones than what I've talked about in the past. Right after this, stick around. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for stopping back by. This is my first shoot in 7 months in my studio. I am kind of excited. I'm ready to get back to showing you guys this stuff in my studio. And we're going to talk about an interesting one today because I've wanted to do this for a while. One of my better performing videos out there with I think it's got over 1 million views, is about the subject of torn brown paper and how you fix it. And a lot of times I don't think I discussed, do you need to fix it, why you need to fix it, so on, and what else will work. Well, we got some alternative products here. I want you to guess, while I'm doing this lead in, what won't work among this list right here. Comment down below while you're watching this. So first of all, what are we talking about with torn brown paper? Well, the reason that happens a lot of times is all kinds of reasons. You're doing remodel, you rip off something like a mirror, and that mirror pulls off the white paper and leaves the brown paper behind. Or you cut something out and you remove a piece of the drywall, but it tears a little bit of the brown paper with it, or the white paper, and leaves the brown paper. There's all kinds of ways you can end up with this. Water damage, and the outer layer of white paper comes off and leaves the brown paper. Popcorn ceiling removal, scraping it, you'll often do some damage, leave the brown paper. So there's a lot of scenarios. I'm probably going to show you some pictures of some of the different ways you can see it here. I probably don't have too many on file, but I'll see what I can come up with. Anyway, the point is, sometimes you end up with this brown paper instead of the white paper. Well, is that really an issue? Okay, I think there's a lot of confusion in this. Here's what I found. In over 40 years of doing this, I spent the last 20 years doing nothing but repairs. And in that time, I probably have repaired over 10,000 torn brown paper spots. There's been jobs where I've repaired over 500 on one job. That, for example, was a popcorn ceiling removal that somebody else did. I told them it probably wasn't going to be scrapable. They want to try and do it themselves to save money. So they did. They got it scraped, but they had to use narrow blades, and it did a lot of damage. About every foot there was a torn brown paper spot. So I had them coat the whole ceiling with 2 coats of this product I've recommended called Pro 99, also RX35. I don't have it right here because I'm out. But this guards is very similar. It's my second favorite product. So anyway, they put 2 coats on it, and out of 500 torn spots, not one of them bubbled that I can remember. It's pretty effective. If you don't do that, will they all bubble? No. This is where it gets misleading and confusing. I found that probably 20 to 30% of the spots is about all that will bubble. So why do we go to the trouble of treating it? Well, it's like this. As a pro, time is money. We come into a job, we allocate, say, 3 to 4 hours to fix something. We want to get out of there in 3 to 4 hours. If you start fixing it without treating it, and you start mudding it, and 30 minutes later you discovered it's bubbling, that sets you back like an hour. You now got to go cut that out. Now you got to treat it and mud it again, let that set up, and that just wastes time. It really makes it difficult. So we found, most pros find that when you're doing very many of these, it's just better to treat it, and then you're going to have a much higher success rate. Now, does this always ensure it won't bubble? No, again. There's several reasons for that. I'll tell you that here in a second. What it does do is cut it down from about 30% of them bubbling to about 0.5. You get very few failures, and usually when you get a failure, it's because you didn't prep it right. There's some steps to prepping it. You can watch my other video about that. One of those is I like to cut a circle around it and peel off any loose paper in there. You can rub it, you can peel it, but if the brown paper is like multiple layers. You peel off one, there's one under. You peel that off, there's one under that. It seems to go on forever, but they're very thin and they can appear to be stuck. But if they are not stuck, if that one layer on top has come loose and it's just kind of like floating on there, even this won't stop it. So you've got to get that loose stuff off. This will help though. It'll often go ahead and lock it down, but you won't have quite as good a success if you don't prep it right. So if you don't prep it right, you still may have some failures. So we go ahead and prep it, treat it, then when we mud it, we're like 99.5% or more guaranteed that we're not going to have any of those bubbles. Now I'll tell you about a little job I went to one time where I proved to myself why I need to do this. I showed up to the job. It was a ceiling repair around a swamp cooler. The paper had peeled off quite a bit, and I went to treat it, and my material had frozen, and it was no good. So I decided, well, I'm just going to mud it, take my chances. Here's what happened. It bubbled pretty bad. So again, then I had to come in, cut it out. I cut it out, thought I had it pretty good, mudded over, and a little bit bubbled again. So this can save you a lot of headache. So if you're just doing this once in a while and you're not in a big hurry, yeah, you can go ahead and try and just mud it, and it might just work. Now that's also why a lot of you think that some of these products will work when they probably won't. Because it's like this, if you only have a 20 to 30% failure rate, if you only fix these once in a while, and say you do 10 of these brown paper repairs a year, out of that you may have 0 failures even if you didn't treat it. Because of that low rate, you would only have 2 to 3, but that's not a guarantee. So the safe thing to say is that just because you treated it with something and it didn't bubble, that doesn't mean that it worked, because a lot of them won't bubble. Now, I'm just giving you my experience. I'm not saying my methods and my knowledge about this is absolute, but after fixing so many of these brown paper spots, I have tried about everything on this table and probably more. And actually I have tried more, and I'll tell you some of those because I've heard of those too. And I found that sometimes it helps and you lower that failure rate, but sometimes it still just doesn't work. One of the methods I've tried that's not on this table is I thought hot mud, get some 5-minute hot mud. It sets up so fast and it sets up hard. Put a little mesh tape on it. Put a skim coat on that mesh tape with hot mud, and surely it won't bubble. Nope, it still bubbled. So that to me is a failure. Some of them didn't, but again, they're not all going to. Hey, you know, one of the secrets to doing quality work when you're doing your own drywall is quality tools. Now that's why I actually reached out to Level 5 last year and asked them for support of our channel, and they gladly agreed. I am an affiliate for Level 5. They're not paying me to say anything here, but if you decide to purchase anything, I do make about 5% on it. But get this, I'm going to be able to give you 10% off as an affiliate. You can't get that on Amazon. Now they have some really cool tools. They got everything from your basic hand tools. You can see mine have definitely been used. They're a little bit dirty right now, but not bad. These are stainless. They're not going to rust. They got all kinds of skim coating blades, including this, I believe it's a 30-inch model, all the way up through a full set of taping tools. So if you guys need any of this, and you'll find the links to all this stuff and the discount code. So now that you've guessed down below which ones of these you think will fail, I'm going to tell you first off which ones won't work for sure. Well, obviously, Raid Hornet spray. I just thought that would be funny in here. That's not going to work. Windshield deicer. That's not going to work. There's another product I don't have in here that might work, and I'm not sure. It's one I haven't tried. This one I haven't tried. It's Plastidip spray-on coating. I kind of doubt it would work, and I don't think it's a good idea. So there's my 3 funny ones. Now, which ones of these have I tried? I've tried the oil-based kills. I've tried the guards. I think I've tried this peel stop. I kind of can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I have. This is Gripper primer. It's a latex water-based primer. I've tried that. This is spray shellac. I've tried that. Spray adhesive. I've tried that. Wood glue. I've even tried that. Now let me give you my experience with these. I thought oil-based primer, you put that on the paper, it's going to lock out the moisture from the mud we're going to put on there. It's got to work. It sounds logical. It's a great product. I had too many failures with it. It still was failing some. But sometimes it didn't, and that's what fooled me and you guys is you put it on, it doesn't fail, you think it worked. I can just tell you after doing a bunch of them, that one failed way too often. It was better than nothing, but not great. This wood glue, I've played with it a little bit. I'm still unsure on it. This is just Elmer's glue. I've tried wood glue. I'm still not sure that that works. The premise to me is that you can maybe lock down the layers of paper and they won't bubble. I don't know yet. I'd like you guys to comment if you've used it. Tell me how many times you think you've used it and how well you think it's worked, because maybe it's another one. Let's see, I'm going to get to my favorite last, I think. So one of the new ones I've been trying, and it actually works really well, it's almost one of my favorite, is this 3M corner bead adhesive. It goes on purple. I use it a lot of times to put a light coat on before my mesh tape, and it helps lock it down so when I coat it, it doesn't come loose, it doesn't wrinkle, things like that. Well, I was out of product one day, the RX35, and I thought, let's try this. It seems logical. Again, it's kind of a rubbery substance. It sticks really well. I've not had one failure with this, and I've probably fixed over 100 to 150 spots. So I'm thinking this stuff actually works, and it's pretty quick. With this, you spray it on, rub it in with your fingers. Make sure you get it into every kind of nook and cranny, lay all them fibers of the paper down, and you might have pretty good success with it. I have. Spray shellac. I've heard a number of people say use this, including Vancouver Carpenter. Ben is a very knowledgeable guy. He knows what he's doing. It does work. I'm going to tell you why I'm not a big fan of it. Number one is when I'm doing this, I'm often in a customer's home. This stuff stinks. And I try not to subject my customers to any more discomfort than I can. So that means dust, noise, me, slamming doors, going in and out. I try and make the whole process as peaceful to them as I can, and I don't want their house to stink. If you just got to do a little spot or two, it's probably going to be okay, but it can get pretty stinky to me, and these other products don't. The other big thing to me is this is flammable, and if it's flammable, it says right here, extremely flammable, liquid and vapor. You're taking a chance to me. If you're anywhere near anything that could ignite it, a water heater, a switch. Switches sometimes arc. When you unplug something from the wall, a cord, if it's still plugged in, it will arc. That could be all it takes. Now, I doubt it would happen, but I have heard of one case where it did. But this was a case where it was like a laundry room, and they put a bunch on in there, and the vapors got pretty strong, got to the water heater, and it blew up. So I prefer not to use flammable substances unless I know it's really safe and really well ventilated. It's really not ideal for indoor spaces. primer, latex primer. Actually, I should have said this one earlier. This doesn't work. I know some of you say it does. I've had a lot of failures. I've tried it a number of times. And again, you could probably coat 50 spots and they may all work because they weren't going to bubble in the first place. I'm going to show you a picture here. I was going to do a video about testing all of these. So I took and wasted a sheet of drywall. I cut out all these circles on here. I can't remember how many, but there's probably 50 or so. Cut them out with my drywall circle cutter, peeled off the outer layer, got to the brown paper. I went through and started mudding them, and no matter what I put on them, some of them were not treated. Every product worked. So I tried it again. I tried to tear it off differently. I actually glued 2x4s onto it in 3 sections and peeled it off so it came off crudely. But after I prepped it right, every spot didn't bubble. I think I had 1 or 2, but it wasn't enough to make this a conclusive kind of a test. And I kind of came to the conclusion that it's really hard to replicate accidental damage. I'm doing it on purpose. It's too precise. And when I prepped it really well. So maybe one of the keys is prep really well, and maybe they won't bubble much at all. Maybe sometimes we get in a little bit too much of a hurry. But back to that, I have tried this product on those kind of things, and I have had it fail a few too many times. When I went to the product like this, Guards or RX35, it virtually eliminated the failures, and that was worth its weight in gold to me. So this is my favorite. The final product here is this Peel Stop. This is more for outside when you have a little bit of loose paint. It's a little bit unstable. Maybe it should be stripped, but you can't strip it. This is a good product for that. Let me get my glasses back on here. I only need glasses to see up close. I'm actually blind in my left eye due to a wrinkle on my retina, and my right eye can see distance because I got this LASIK where I see distance with this eye, close with this one. Because of the wrinkle, I see nothing with this one. So I can no longer see close unless I wear these glasses. I actually can legally drive without them, but this says glues down peeling paint, seals cracked and checked surfaces, binds chalky surfaces, and it provides a sound surface. So it's basically a good coating when you're working on the outside of a house and you have paint surfaces that are not in the best of shape, but you don't want to strip them or anything. That's what this is for. But because it locks things down, I think this might work too, but that's not why I have it. So the bottom line is, I still recommend this or RX35 Absolute. My second choice would be this spray adhesive. I've gone to using this most often now. Although I don't do this a whole lot anymore because I'm just having too many health problems with bad shoulders, bad knees, and so on. But I am going to do some. If you got ventilation and it's safe, this would be my next favorite. So those right there would be the 3 favorites I would recommend. These others, comment down below if you've used them, but I don't recommend products that I've had some failures with. These are reliable. Hey, if you guys got any other thoughts about this, comment below. I learn from YouTube. I learn from comments sometimes. Some of the things I've showed you on YouTube, I've learned from other people on YouTube. I'm always learning. If you ever stop learning, you're going to get in a rut. You're not going to be the best you can be at what you're doing. So I hope that helped you out. Glad to be back with you guys. Be looking for a lot more videos. I'm going to try and put out 2, maybe 3 videos a week, not including shorts videos. There may be a few of those thrown in there also. And I'm going to try and revive my 3-minute drywall school channel. Hey, welcome to that Kilted Guy 3-minute drywall school, where we teach you drywall skills in about 3 minutes. So look for content over there. Plus, I'm still going to put out videos on that Kilted guy behind the kilt about our personal life, RVing, etc. Good to be back. Glad to see you guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care, everybody.